Everything Great About Black Panther Wakanda Forever is sponsored by NordVPN.
Please allow me to heal my brother of this illness, and I will never question your existence again.
It would be hard to figure out how to begin a movie where the main character tragically died in real life, and this is pretty good. Bargaining with your culture's deity is something pretty much everyone can relate to.
Minimal chance of producing the desired effects.
I don't care!
And it would also be a very difficult thing to handle tactfully, especially when superheroes exist and comic book characters rarely die for good. But since Killmonger burned all the flowers in the first movie, it works for the story. I really love the celebration of lifestyle funeral. It's definitely what I'd want my family to do, but I do always feel for the people really mourning, especially when someone dies young. But for real, think about the contrast between this and Tony's funeral. Aside from the cultural differences, that funeral ended the film, and this has the burden of opening one. And it does so masterfully. Also, wearing white to funerals in some African countries is often the custom, in case you were thinking this was just a Wakandan thing. Crap, Ludwig again. The only movie we've done that he didn't compose this year so far was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Anyway, still amazing. Well, that's beautiful. Again, not the easiest thing to know how to handle, but a silent and purple Marvel logo with only Chadwick on it is a nice way to honor him.
Daughter of Lumumba, sovereign ruler of the Kingdom of Wakanda.
Now that Wakanda is... I mean, they can't be part of the UN yet, right? That was fast. But whatever, sitting in the chambers, they got introduced the way they've requested, and that's pretty neat.
Que le vibranium peut servir à la fabrication d'armes de destruction massive.
It's great the governments can just be like, WMDs, we're afraid of them. Oh, you got oil? WMDs. Diamonds? You mean WN diamonds? Good one, France.
You perform civility here.
Oof, perform civility is the iciest of burns and pretty well defines politics. Never get tired of these voices in the score. I didn't know I May Destroy You applied to guns, and it did, in fact, destroy me, and I'm so pumped that Michaela Cole is in this. And what a badass entrance.
Je vous en prie.
In their own language. Random Lake Bell appearances are always a win. Look, even without Namor down there, no thanks. Can you imagine being a sailor and actually hearing sirens? Either way, I love how Marvel always works in ancient myths like mermaids. Seriously, imagine being in the middle of the ocean at night and just seeing a bunch of people floating. No thanks. What an absolute badass intro for Atuma and the Talokan people. Namora is looking up, which is confusing when these seem to be aquatic people, unless you already know some stuff about Namor. Definitely didn't think they were gonna kill someone recognizable like Lake Bell, at least not this early, but it sets the stakes. Namor is not messing around, and they aren't playing around with him being an anti-hero, which is interesting considering his long history in the comics. Wakanda always mixes nature and technology so well.
What is this?
Exosuits for our army. Okoye had notes.
What were her notes?
She hates them.
I mean, they are hella ugly. It looks like something the Zora would give you in Breath of the Wild to swim real fast.
It's just a construct of your mind, brought on so you could feel some comfort or joy.
What a great setup to see where Shuri is both coming from and where she's going.
What construct does your mind create? Does it offer you comfort or torment?
Say what you will about different cultures' beliefs about the afterlife, but even when you know something is a placebo, it can still work. Who else thought we'd never get this? And who else thought it would never happen because Momoa's Aquaman was basically Namor? Seriously, look up Namor long hair beard. So I really thought Marvel would just leave Namor to the pages for a while, and instead they pivoted, changed and evolved the backstory and cast Rafa, and holy crap, it's everything I'd ever hoped for. He's so dang cool.
My people call me Kukulkan, but my enemies call me Namor.
Yeah, but that's probably just because they can't spell or pronounce Kukulkan.
The American military detected vibranium under my nation's domain. I was able to stop them from mining it.
Love that smile. Still not an anti-hero, but some villains are just hard to hate.
I have more soldiers than this land has blades of grass.
That's a lot of soldiers. According to the internet, Wakanda is about 29,000 square miles, roughly the size of South Carolina. So let's say 50% of Wakanda is green with grass, which is a low estimate. There's apparently around 3,000 blades of grass and a square foot of grass. Anyway, I did the math on my calculator and it said this. And like, what does that even mean? Anyway, seems like a lot of soldiers.
Let us head north. no evidence of any activity at all.
The absolute professor of vibes.
Ball-headed demon.
Give M'Baku his own movie, his own franchise. Honestly, let's make the MCU the M'Baku cinematic universe.
We should find the fishman and kill him.
Those stories are seared in my mind.
That sounds very painful.
Sassy Shuri is such a jerk. You gotta love it. Look, say what you will about Red Hot Chili Peppers, Can't Stop is a jam to run to. Good lord, the drip. I love that they both keep their color schemes while also looking like they're posing for an album cover of an album I'd definitely buy.
It's in the American equivalent of a Wakandan village school.
I was so distracted by the style, I almost missed Okoye calling MIT the American equivalent of a Wakandan village school. Seriously, Bucky, why did you leave?
Oh, am I getting recruited? No.
Yeah, we'd all be crushed too. We're not all hiding an Ironheart suit.
To be young, gifted, and black, though, right?
Great line, even greater Nina Simone song.
I'm just gonna...
Ooh! Correct reaction, Okoye is a presence. No look bisection. Also, I've seen those collapsible spears and they're not that sturdy.
Have you flown it yet?
That thing can fly.
I know it's been done in every movie, but I really do love a tell don't show moment. Builds up the tension, and if you know who Riri actually is, you're just getting more pumped.
Oh, she got an Iron Man suit!
Appropriate response. Dang, that's at least $1,312 worth of damage. For anyone who didn't know Shuri's history of being the Black Panther in the comics, this is a nice scene to show that Shuri's not just the smart one. Badass good girl. The Dora Milaje score kicks in with Toby and Fatna Wigway's song, and she uses some crazy ingenuity to flip that piece. Ethan Hawke just got so mad in a trailer in the desert somewhere. Well, that looks awesome, and the sound design is fantastic. Not typical explosion noises. Who knew water could be so vicious? Now that's an entrance. Yep, pretty dang hard to argue with whales vaulting your enemies up.
Hey, she blue?
I know he dies, so I shouldn't laugh, but those are amazing last words. And the sound design of Okoye's spear has never sounded so sharp. This is both honorable and menacing. Atuma could just kill her. He could also just kill Riri and bail, but he's enjoying the fight, which kind of makes sense considering he's probably never met his match. Right in the fish eggs, right in the mer balls, right in his underwater kingdom, right in the Sebastian and Flounder looks like she found his Nemo. I'm on Team Okoye, but that was pretty awesome. What? Had no idea Selena was gonna be in this one. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is always open.
You're looking good.
Oh, I try.
You put that home gym in?
Yeah, last year.
Maybe I'll drop by sometime and jump on your Peloton.
Must be really into biking?
Actually, wouldn't mind apologizing to you for a couple of things I said during our marriage.
Marriage? Dang, good for Tim the Watson Hobbit.
You will be stripped of your rank as general of Wakanda's armies. I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone!
I'm a little upset about Okoye, but I do also feel for her. I mean, not because she's the queen, but the family stuff. Death comes for us all. A wise man once said, time, takes everybody out. It's undefeated.
Puke spoke Yucatec Mayan.
Wait, I know that voice. Trevor Noah as Griot? Okay, friend, okay. Adorable children are always a win.
You are missed at T'Challa's funeral.
Oof, hearing that from his mom has gotta be rough.
I was afraid how final the funeral would be.
Super relatable, and on the other side there's Shuri, who was at the funeral, but there was nothing final about it for her at all. She is still very much grieving.
That is some super villain shit right there. Princess Leia, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, that white chick from Indiana Jones.
She's not wrong. A bunch of Bond villains, too.
Me llamo María Aldana, soy estudiante de Mérida.
Fun fact, Lupita Nyong'o is actually fluent in Spanish as well as English, Swahili, and Luo. Too bad she's such an uggo, am I right? I'm wrong.
In Wilikshan.
Different colored subtitles again letting us know Nakia switched languages, and the Yucatan Mayan has a shadow as well, giving it more impact. I know the light diffusion from the water is doing a lot of work, but this is such a beautiful scene. I mean, the water is way too clear, but still, gorgeous.
I was a mutant.
I'm sorry, a what now? This is the MCU, but I've never heard that word before. Strange. Enhanced or inhuman? Sure. Oh well, I hope we get to hear more about these mutants. The timing of that yell in the score is so epic. To be fair, this guy probably thought single women who could read were demons. Don't take it too personal, Namor.
He called me
Un niño sin amor.
El Niño Sin Amor, and I took my name from there, Namor, because I have no love for the surface world.
As name origins go, this one is pretty killer, even if it deviates from the comics.
Hypothermia will grieve you almost instantaneously, and the pressure of the ocean will break every bone in your body. Or you can wear a suit. We have some of them. Come on.
I wasn't expecting that. His little comedic bit sort of adds to his ominous presence when he's been so intense so far. Shuri's face says it all. Tenoch Huerta is killing it. I'm gonna be honest with you, this city is very pretty, the track is energetic and fun, and I think living here would be one of my worst nightmares. And I blame the choice to film all the citizens underwater. It's so dark and awful, and they don't really seem to have any extra special ability to move around in the water. So you're probably wondering how this is a win. It isn't. Nice, underwater ulama, one of the sports that almost certainly inspired soccer.
Hello.
Later, Namor tells Shuri that she's the first person from the surface to visit their kingdom, and I like that it's clear they think it's super cool to have visitors.
I brought the sun to my people.
Maybe I was a little hasty and it was supposed to be like dawn, but don't try to make me want to be underwater in the dark. You will fail. Chekhov's jewelry.
We need to find a peaceful way to resolve this.
I like how firm Shuri is here. She clearly empathizes with Namor and his people, but she's also not an easy mark. She's gonna make a great Black Panther.
For centuries, the surface nations have conquered and enslaved people like us over resources.
He is really killmongering here and like, where's the lie?
I need to know if Wakanda is an ally or an enemy. There is no in between.
Only Siths deal in absolutes. Sorry, fishes.
You said you wanted to burn the world. Let us burn it together.
That voice, that facial hair, those piercings, yeah, I think most people might burn the world with him.
The president wants to take offensive action against Wakanda.
Obviously, this movie is long enough, and I'm glad it's not where this movie goes, but there's a little part of me that would love to see more footage of the Dora Milaje wiping the floor with Spec Op guys.
If you tell the Americans about us, if you try to find us, I will kill the princess. I will come to Wakanda, and I will kill you.
It is bananas how quickly he goes from charming to an absolute threat, and I always believe every word.
There is no chance. Don't understand. This will mean war.
I think it says something about Shuri's optimism, but also inexperience that she still thinks she can avoid war. She's seen one side of Namor, but the other side just casually told her mother he'd kill Shuri without blinking. Still, I love that Shuri tries to save her. Hugging, and somehow the score is still putting me on edge. Hope that doesn't mean anything. Yep, also believe that. You can argue with his methods, and you can argue with his logic, but you cannot argue with that badass throne made from a megalodon jaw or the six serpent god headdress. Also, Namor's theme is a truly spine-chilling piece of music.
Spy saves Wakanda once again. The Queen will reward her with lifetime banishment, I'm sure of it.
Baku cracking his buddies up.
After Thanos' attack.
Just hearing Okoye mention Thanos is almost a system shock. Not because Wakanda is any less part of the comic book world, but it's a reminder of how the entire universe was affected. I'll admit, I bailed on Walking Dead a few years ago, and you know why, but seeing Okoye holding back tears like this is such a testament to Denai Guerrera's skill compared to the stoic Michonne. Again, I'm not saying it's the first time, but water doesn't usually feel so ominous. A real hero just hops in and starts helping.
You just hung up on the Queen.
I just hung up on my mom? There's a difference.
There is! It's way worse to hang up on your mom. Appropriate reaction. His own movie. Monarchies suck. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. They're bad. But at least this queen is helping out with drones rather than sitting on a horse away from the battle. Just realized this movie is Water Nation versus Land Nation, and the Talokan get blue captions while the Wakandans get yellow. Brutal. But at least now M'Baku understands why they can't just kill the fish man. Also, you hear the whale songs in Namor's motif? When you first see Namor fly, you're like, that's cool, but like, can't matter that much. Oh, he's crazy fast when he flies, crazy powerful, and also pretty much indestructible. Fair play. Even before, is he standing there because his senses are so strong he knows where the shots will land, or is he just not bothered by it because he's indestructible? Either way, badass, bad dish, but also has a good point guy. Yeah, nailed it. Expectation subversion, that they don't explode. They always explode. No flinch. Impressive. Well, now I feel bad for what I said about monarchies. That's a badass good queen.
Bury your dad, mourn your losses.
He's bad, but he's honorable, he's handsome, he's got those short shorts. I know he just wrecked Wakanda, but it's hard to argue with those eyes and those short shorts.
The world has taken too much from you.
Hate the circumstances, but love seeing this softer, more thoughtful side of M'Baku.
I had them bugged before you ever even got there.
Val is essentially a competent Selena. They're both terrible, but Selena continually just fell on her face, which is probably a decent representation of the actual people in government. Whereas Val is what we think people in charge are like, smart, selfish, and maybe a tad evil.
Ever thought what we would be doing if the US was the only country in the world with vibranium?
I actually dream about that.
And it's gonna be so fun when Val sides with Kang.
But it doesn't mean the Black Panther is gone.
Prove it. No, really, I want to see it.
The Midnight Angel.
Okay, I don't know why it didn't click that she was building a Midnight Angel suit at first. It's fine, but if it means Okoye gets to throw down again, we good. Oh, so that's where Riri gets her super name. See, it's Iron and the CVS logo. Well, that would be a disconcerting way to enter the ancestral plane. Love the effect used here to make her come out dry. Why do I feel like she's about to get a spirit orb? That low growl like a panther is sitting on the throne? Oh, right, it is. Or maybe just the eye of the tiger?
How?
How? It's never as important as why, right?
Great callback. Clearly, Namor has some motivational similarities to Killmonger.
How is never as important as why?
Also, Shuri was struggling with her anger and grief, so it makes sense that she'd call the one guy who, in theory, welcomed both of those emotions.
So why did you take it then?
Bringing Jadaka back? His death was amazing and meaningful, and I'd never want to devalue it, but also bring Killmonger back? One of the most complex characters in the MCU. Little Black Panther redemption arc for him? Cloning, Project Tahiti, whatever.
How many people like your scientists did Wakanda protect before I took the throne?
Wow. Yeah. He's not even a little bit wrong.
The Namor struck and killed my mother. Their blood is on your hands.
Don't you dare take that away from your mother.
Respect.
Are you gonna be noble like your brother? Or take care of business like me?
I just generally love that Coogler brought Michael B. Jordan back here, not just for a fun surprise cameo, but to actually cement his legacy as not just a crazy villain, but a necessary part of Wakanda's history and future.
Can I get some of that too?
Right? I mean, Iron CVS logo won't need any, but everyone else?
I wonder how anything gets done with you people.
I'm really happy to see Cranky and Baku back. He's the best. These little synth beats, and is that some gold and silver we see in that helmet? A little T'Challa and a little Indijaka? Yup, Black Panther's alive.
Namor believes Wakanda's on her knees.
What's funny is that I always said Namor too, and the whole Niño Sin Amor is specific to this version of Submariner, but come on, Shuri, he introduced himself and explained his name. It's Namor.
Now is our opportunity to take him. What are you afraid of?
War.
Yeah, that's a pretty level-headed concern, especially coming from the guy who was kind of like the macho archetype in the first movie.
But she's dead. Namor drowned her. Her hopes for me. It doesn't matter anymore. And what I want is Namor dead.
Grief affects us all in different ways, and it's good most of us don't run whole countries, but this is a great moment to look at how much grief is clouding her judgment. As she says, it's all about what she wants, not what's best for the country. Namor attacked Queen Ramonda and quite possibly tried to kill her, but he didn't. She died because she went back for Riri. Shuri doesn't know that, but it wouldn't matter because it doesn't fit the narrative of her rage. She wants blood, and that's all she sees.
Yava?
The man's grunts say so much. Hey, did M'Baku finally come around to the wonders of vibranium or even just not wood? Can't knock a good E-Bombay chant. And you thought the Midnight Angel suits were ugly. Stop it, it cleaned up nicely. Now there's some sick teamwork that creates such an incredible shot.
What's wrong? I need a glass of water.
Ha, she got him. Her judgment might be clouded by grief-induced rage, but she's still got zingers. Whales with bombs. Uncool using these gentle giants like this, but also super cool amount of bombs. Okay, maybe I take back what I said about the suits. They look pretty cool in action, plus I'm all about Okoye getting Iron Man / Ironheart powers. Now that's an entrance. Oh, that seems awful. Great move, it's super smart, but I definitely don't like watching that clip. It makes me shiver. But because I keep talking about it, we keep seeing it over and over. This was poorly thought out. Tight callback, call out. Dang, Silver Age comic panel vibes in the best way. The full body swing of Namor's punch just looks so iconic. Solid twofer. Love the super brief moment of realization by Namora. brutal. That stab is brutal, but the shock is as well. Coming off Shuri's new killer synth motif to just be cut short as she's run through. And honestly, I had a moment where I thought, holy crap, they're gonna kill Shuri too. Either way, it shows that Namor isn't messing around.
It could have been different.
And I do appreciate that he clearly feels at least a little conflicted.
Or take care of business, like me.
I'm not my brother. Namor will beg me for mercy.
This is one of those tropes that I can't get enough of, the deceitful storyteller who cuts scenes off early to come back to them later to add context or show the full scene. Samara's But I Do being one of my faves. So Imperious Rex is something Namor from the comics says. It's Latin for Empire King. What I think is interesting here is that Namor doesn't say it in Latin, but it's translated that way. It's a nice Easter egg for the fans while keeping this version of Namor true to his origins.
Wakanda Forever!
I hope I wasn't alone when I uncontrollably yelled, "Oh snap!" when this happened. It's such a baller move. It's a Mortal Kombat finishing move. He's toast. Modern movies don't humanize villains. Challenge. Impossible. JK, I actually love it. No one sees themselves as the bad guy, especially not survivors like Namor and his people. Shuri sees the connections between them as humans, and it's making it difficult to just kill him despite her hate. She's also seeing the history and trauma of imperialism and colonization and how it's made him into who he is.
Show him who you are.
Love the start of a new friendship. M'Baku with the head nod? How are we the most genuinely supportive buddy out there? The score pounding in? Love it all. They all knew Shuri was the Black Panther because of her bloodline and taking the herb, but now they know she deserves it. She saved them all and stopped the war. You can't replace a brother, but you can get to know a new surrogate sister. The crowd might be disappointed, but we'll never not love our guy.
Wish to challenge for the throne.
Does this mean M'Baku is the new king of Wakanda? Very down for this. Even without the cultural understanding of what this means, we know it's Shuri's attempt at embracing her grief, confirmed with all her happy memories, the way she wants to remember her brother. And what a beautiful and powerful way to end the film. She's finally letting go and processing her grief. That's a cute kid, and as far as MCU mid-credit scenes go, it doesn't get much more wholesome than this.
Hussein is a beautiful name.
Yours is cool too, I guess.
Honesty and compliments.
My name is Prince T'Challa, son of King T'Challa.
Better watch that throne, M'Baku. This whole thing could have so easily been tasteless, but I think they really honored him the best way they could. Wakanda Forever is a good movie cursed with being the sequel to an excellent movie. The emotional stakes are high and the acting is top-notch, but as is often the case with sequels to outstanding movies, I find myself wishing it gave me the same feeling as the original. And at times it did, other times it felt a tad bloated and not quite sure where it wanted us to focus. It actually feels like two movies, but I understand that taking a gamble on an Ironheart movie or even a Namor solo movie would be risky, so I think they made the multiple storylines and characters work as best they could. Of course, now that I've seen this, I think a Namor movie would have been killer. I love this take on him and his people. The choice to have them not just be sea creatures who avoid humans and instead be humans who avoided genocide and colonization is pitch perfect and makes me care way more. I know that this changes a lot of the lore, but now that we have Eternals, Celestials, and Talokan, Atlanteans in the comics, the nerd in me is really hoping we get some version of the OG 1988 Atlantis attack storyline, but who knows. Like I already said, I think they dealt with Chadwick Boseman's tragic death well. I was definitely team don't recast, but I also can see it from the other side. My biggest complaint is killing Queen Ramonda in the same movie. While it certainly pushed Shuri in the direction the film needed, it was jarring and took some of the focus off T'Challa's death. And I can't lie, Chadwick is a highlight of the first movie, even standing next to Michael B. Jordan. Big shoes to fill, and they honestly did not miss with Tenoch Huerta. He's a real standout. While camp can be fun, Namor easily could have felt camp in the wrong way. The winged feet, the pointy ears, the short shorts, but instead Huerta flipped all of that on its head. Somehow he and Coogler turned his winged feet into something pretty menacing. And speaking of menacing, he nailed the tone. Rafa from Narcos Mexico and Lil Mago from Sin Nombre are both warm and likable one moment and utterly ruthless in the next. So this is his lane. And his performances draw sympathy from the viewer regardless of what awful thing he's doing. That's Namor. He is a real threat, but he's also a compassionate leader. He cares about his people, and he is also maybe down to commit some genocide. I'm stoked to see what he gets to do with his character going forward. Super glad he lived through this one. While the rest of the returning cast didn't disappoint, I definitely have to hand it to Letitia Wright for stepping in and taking such a bigger role. The literal weight of Wakanda on her shoulders. I don't envy her. But even if the movie was a little listing at times, she held it together with heart and a clean arc that we can all relate to. And it's one that comes up over and over in these stories. However, it still feels fresh and meaningful watching her go through the realization that she she and Namor aren't that different, and that she has responsibilities beyond vengeance. Letitia and Tenoch were a perfect pair, and I hope we get to see them work together again. And you know what Shuri wouldn't be caught without while traveling abroad in Haiti? That's right, a VPN. Specifically NordVPN, so she could access all her this stuff, whatever this stuff is, and know that no one is logging or tracking her data. You know she likes privacy. And if you sign up for NordVPN at my link, you too can be safe online. NordVPN is a virtual private network that gives you privacy over your browsing. Also, you can use one of Nord's 5,000 servers in 50 countries to get around geo-blocking or geofencing. So like, say if you wanted to stream Megan, but it's not available in your country, NordVPN will allow you to do that. And I'm not saying I'm doing Megan next week, because I'm not. But let's just say it's on the schedule, if you get my drift. But with 4,800 different streaming services with all different silly and arbitrary blocks of certain content in certain regions, it doesn't make sense to go without NordVPN. They also have a dark web monitor that notifies you if someone leaks your credentials. I use it pretty much every day for various things on my various devices. And Nord is super affordable, especially for my fans who sign up with my link in the description. You can get 30 days risk-free money-back guarantee to try it out. So sign up with my link, it's a huge help to me and the channel.
Oh, you get what I said. We have some of them.